On the 7th of November 2020, the Spirit Specialist opened its doors, well, door, to the public for the very first time. Just a few days after the UK went into a second lockdown, I launched a new retail business offering some of the world's most exciting spirits to a general public who basically couldn't leave the house. From day one, I always said that if I could make it to a year operating with the door still open and some money still in the bank, even if it was just a fiver, I could consider that a success. And so here we are, just a couple of weeks away from the shop's first birthday. To celebrate this anniversary, I'd like to present you my nominations for the Spirit Specialist Spirits of the Year 2021, those particular bottles that have stood out for me personally. Every single product sold in the shop I sample before bringing it in to ensure it's of a high standard and good value to you, the customer. And given the time of year, maybe these nominations will give you some ideas for presents in the run up to Christmas, or even just a little treat for yourself. On the weekend of our first birthday, I'll upload a new video in which I announce the winners. But for now, here's the nominations for the Brandy or Grape Spirit of the Year.
Hello there. Ben Bowers, the Spirit Specialist, again to do nominations of Spirits of the Year category 4. It was originally going to be Brandy, but then there was a couple of other things that I did want to give a shout out to for this year that fitted into, essentially they weren't brandy, but it was like grape spirits. But then I've got another one that isn't involving grape spirits, but technically would go into a brandy category. So I'm calling this the brandy category, even though actually there's not some brandies in it. That should make sense as we go through the video, particularly in the case of the first nomination, which is AVALLEN CALVADOS. So, kind of not a brandy because it's not grape based, it's apple based with a little bit of pear in it. But this is a relatively new Calvados brand from actually two British people that were involved in the drinks industry and wanted to they saw a bit of a gap in the market, particularly with Calvados. In terms of Calvados is quite traditional and very much kind of the kind of forgotten cousin that we don't really talk about in the brandy world. You know, Calvados, a lot of people go, oh well, that's apple brandy, isn't it? And yes, a lot of it does taste like brandy that has a bit of apple juice in. This is very much different. This is totally fruit forward. It reminds me quite a lot of a dry cider. It really does have that dry apple fresh feel. It's amazing in cocktails. If you mix this with like amaretto and some caramel syrup, you get an amazing, almost like a sour. So if you did amaretto, lemon juice, a bit of caramel syrup, shake that up, have it as like a Calvados sour, an AVALLEN sour, or mate, it's like an apple pie gone up to 11. Absolutely fantastic stuff. For traditional Calvados drinkers, it's a bit too fruit forward. For people that want that, it tastes like a brandy that's a bit appley, it's too fresh. It's too intense, there's too much going on for it. But actually, that's why I love it so much, because it is taking what was very traditional category and going in a very different direction and really modernizing it as well. The great thing about this as well is almost that they're really, really sustainable. So if you go on the website, there's a lot about like saving bees, who are really important for horticulture. The labels are made from apple pulp. It's really, really sustainable, very green, very forward thinking, and an absolutely fantastic brand and well worth following and supporting. So that is why this is the first nomination for our brandy, grape spirits, whatever you want to call it, category. The second is Seven Tails XO. So I haven't actually got a bottle in stock because I'm waiting for some more to come in, because it came in and it sold out really, really quickly. Now Seven Tails I got in just before last Christmas, not long after I opened, purely on the bottle, tried a sample of it and went, oh, this is really nice, and the bottle looks cool as anything. So Seven Tails is due to the 7 parts of alchemy, and this is a really, really interesting combination of brandy and cognac and Armagnac, aged anywhere between 3 to 30 years old, that have been finished in port casks. Now, anything finished in a port cask I tend to be a bit of a sucker for, but it works brilliantly well with these brandies. It gives it a lovely, rich, dark fruit feel to it. So it's a really, really good set of brandy. So even if you didn't do that port finish, it would probably be fantastic. But that port finish takes it from there to there. It's absolutely stunning stuff. It looks cool. It's got a cracking story behind it. And the liquid itself is stunning. As an after dinner kind of like, I want a brandy, but I want something really, really good. But I don't want to break the bank either, because the price point I think is fantastic for what is in it and the quality of the liquid, which is why it is a very deserved second nomination for this particular category. The third is TOSOLINI GRAPPA Smoked. So this is why it kind of doesn't become a brandy category, because this is a grappa, but it is a grape-based spirit that is similar to brandy, so I'm kind of throwing it in here. And the reason I want to throw it in here, because this is absolutely amazing, and I wanted to highlight this as one of my spirits of the year. This really surprised me. I was getting in a couple of grappas and some Italian spirits for a local Italian restaurant, and I saw this on the price list of the supplier and was like, I'll give it a try. Got in touch with them. Can I have a sample? Can you send it through? Tried it. Stunning. Absolutely amazing. Now, Tosolini are one of the leading producers in Italy of grappa. Their grappa is absolutely fantastic. So you've already got an amazing base. And what they do with this is they then finish it in barrels that have been basically charred with tobacco leaves. So the smokiness is quite sweet. And I mean, you can imagine it's amazing with a cigar, but the smokiness that's there is subdued, but it's rich, it's dark, it's sweet, it's unctuous, without being liqueury. This is still a spirit, this is still a proper grappa that has this underlying smokiness coming through that is absolutely amazing. Most grappa drinkers that I've talked to that have tried this have never had anything like it. And it really is a completely new direction for grappa to go, even though this has been going for quite a while. But my word, does this work. It is absolutely stunning stuff. If you like grappa, if you like kind of gently smoky whiskey, so I'm not talking Lefroy, Kalila, things like that, but if you like whiskies that are lightly smoked, so like a Benromach or maybe even Lechec or something like that, I'd highly recommend giving this a go as something slightly different. It is superb. That's the third nomination. The fourth and final is YSABEL Regina Pedro Jimenez Cask Finish. Now this is one of my favorites. I do absolutely love this thing, and the bottle looks super cool as well. So YSABEL Regina is a combination of cognac and also Spanish brandy that have been married in casks that have previously held Pedro Jimenez sherry, but they're called damp casks or moist casks, which I hate that word, it's horrible, but damp Pedro Jimenez cask, which basically means that there's some of the sherry still left in it. Just a little bit. It's not like completely empty. There's a little bit of the sherry still left in it. And then the cognac and the Spanish brandies are married in there. So this is a distillery in Spain where the cognac's brought across along with the Spanish brandy, which is also made from Pedro Jimenez sherry grapes. And they're married in this with this little element of Pedro Jimenez sherry in it. Now, PX sherry I absolutely adore. Rich, unctuous, dark, really, really Christmassy. You can get very, very dry PX, but it's not that common. This, with that kind of sweetness, with the spiciness of the brandy, you get that kind of lovely extra dark fruity character to it, but you also kind of get this, it's not a smokiness, but there is a kind of spiciness to it as well. It's incredibly good on a cold autumn evening, as we're in autumn at the moment at the time of recording, warming up at winter after a dinner. I'm pretty certain, I'm not a cigar smoker, but I'm fairly certain this is going to be absolutely amazing with cigars as well. It's a stunning brandy. It's one where I've recommended it to customers who have then come back for another bottle and another bottle and another bottle. It's absolutely brilliant stuff and a worthy nomination. So those are the nominations for brandy stroke grape spirits stroke. We've got a Calvados in there as well. But those are the four nominations. You can find the winner when I upload my results video at the weekend of our first anniversary, which is the first anniversary is the 7th of November, so it'll be that weekend at some point. And you can find out which one, as well as the winners of all the other categories as well. So I shall hopefully see you at that video, and hopefully some of the nomination videos too. Cheers.